Well, hi, everybody, and Business Excellence Forum isn't too far away. Joining today is the amazing Darren Hardy. Darren, how you doing today, buddy?
Beautiful day here in San Diego. Santa Ana wins. Everybody complains about them. I love them.
Actually, this is great because we get to come to your city to come see you. It's not like we have to fly you in from around the world. You get to drive down and hang with us.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It's why I booked the venue there, buddy. It must just be that.
Thank you. No planes, trains, automobiles, and packing a bag, man. I can't thank you enough. I'll kiss you on the lips when I see you.
Yeah. We don't need to quite go that far, buddy. It's okay. You know, Darren, look, most of the people coming will already know of you. And in fact, I'm pretty sure many of them have seen you before at some of our events. But I want to go back to Entrepreneur Rollercoaster because I think that it's a unique way of perceiving the world because entrepreneurs we're just a little bit different to others. Give me an understanding. What led you to that book? What led you to write that info?
Well, it really was, it was the telling of my own journey, which, come to find out, it really is the journey of most entrepreneurs. I mean, I didn't make a goal as a young kid, what I want to do when I grow up is happened to me by sheer, sequence of circumstances, if you will. And so as a result of not having been very well planned for or signed up for any training to go to school to become an entrepreneur, I did it all the wrong ways first. The trial and error is very painful and costly and bloody and lots of headache and heartache and knee scrapes and wallet ache along the way. And the reality is that most entrepreneurs start out that way, but they don't have to. You don't have to have it be that difficult, or that painful, or that bloody. And so, one of the things, one of my mentors, in which is a key point, I sought out mentors. I did seek out the training. Being involved with organizations like yourselves can save people so much time, energy, effort, money, headache, and heartache. I mean, go get the formula and the plan. Go, the roadmaps have already been sort of laid out by those that have been there before, and they can have you avoid the pitfalls and the landmines and expeditiously kind of usher you towards your destination. And that's what you do. That's what I now do. But one of my mentors said, if you ever do get to the penthouse, your main responsibility is to send the elevator back down and help others come up. And so that's really what the book was about, was like, okay, I figured out a lot of ways to do it wrong. And then I figured out a few ways to do it right. And so let me tell you, how to get there faster. And let me also tell you the pains and trials and tribulations that you probably will experience along the way. Because as you know, I mean, this is the business we're in. 66% of all small businesses fail. And to me, that's heartbreaking because it's not just some individual failing and having a difficult time. Their whole family is affected by that.
Yeah.
Their future, their hearts, their self-esteem, their self-identity, most importantly. And I think a lot of times they when they fail, they think that there's something wrong with them, when in reality, it really is part and parcel to the journey you take as an entrepreneur. Hence the title of the book, The Entrepreneur Rollercoaster. There will be exhilarating highs, but there will also be death-defying drops. That is all part of the joy of the ride.
Yeah. Look, the flip side is also true, buddy, that, whilst there's a vast amount that don't make it, there's a massive number, and that's what the Business Excellence Forum is all about. It's about celebrating those who do make it because they keep learning, they keep growing, they keep doing that stuff. If you go back to like when you wrote The Compound Effect, helping people understand multiplication in business and that sort of thing, I mean, it's quite a unique perspective too. Give me a bit more of an understanding as to how people can relate to the compound effect.
Well, success ultimately is not an overnight happening. It really is the accumulated compound effect of the small iterative improvements that you make over time. And if anybody tries to explain it any other ways, they're trying to sell you something and trying to get into your back pocket. It is a day by day. I mean, every day you wake up and you're going to define whether that day is going to be a success, whether you're walking towards success or you're walking towards failure. And even at our stages or beyond, you never arrive. You don't own success, you only rent it, and the rent is due every single day. This is a heroic journey that is always going to be filled with challenges and new adventures and new thrills and dragons to slay and challenges to take on. So, talking about entrepreneurship, I was just having a conversation with a member of our team who has a child who's the starting quarterback for his football team, and he gets really nervous. And I said, hey, well, the great thing is there's a rounding error chance of 0 that he's ever going to get into the NFL, make any money with that whatsoever. I remember when I interviewed Ken Fisher, who wrote the book, The 10 Roads to Riches. There's only 10 paths. When you break down every single endeavor anybody's ever done in the history of humanity, there's only 10 roads to wealth. And one of them is becoming a celebrity athlete or entertainer or actor or actress, whatever. But of all the people who start out at that endeavor, the chances of you or your kid being that next Tiger Woods or that next Tom Brady is a rounding error of 0. That's and he's a financial analyst, right? So mathematically, that's your chance. And if you go out at that pursuit, you're going to be an Olympic athlete, a downhill ski racer, or a ballerina, or an actor, or an entertainer, and it doesn't work out for you, you're done. Like, that's it. It's over. You wasted 20, 30 years of your life, and it's failure. That's the end of the story. Now, the great thing about entrepreneurship is you can fail, and you can fail again, and you can fail again. And here's the great thing, Brad. You only need to be right once. Like, you only need to win once and become wealthy.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing about entrepreneurship. So as I was encouraging her, I said, be more encouraging of building his character and his self-development on the path of what could be his own choices in life, whether that's entrepreneurship or not. But if it is entrepreneurship, you have a much better chance of securing the safety and the prosperity of his future pursuing entrepreneurship than you are any other path, any other road to potential success, wealth, and prosperity. So it is an amazing, I'm so grateful that circumstances worked out, that entrepreneurship became the path that I have been pursuing vigorously ever since.
When I sit down and I look at the options, and, you talk about it from his book, and then you go back to the Millionaire Next Door, more than 70% of millionaires are from people that own their own business and own their own home. It's not a complex algorithm. It's pretty dang simple.
Yeah.
But the path to get there there's so much to learn. And that's why I'm super glad you're coming to teach with us and hang with us. And, ultimately, buddy, when we look at the self-development side of it, entrepreneurs have to be, you mentioned it for that young kid. There's so much to learn skill-wise, but there's also the personal side where you've got to keep working on that. What's some of the key things on that? Because I know part of what you're going to be teaching is around that and making sure people develop themselves and where they go.
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity, just by the nature of my profession, to spend time with Meet, investigate, look through the playbooks of the most successful people on the planet, because I've run 3 television networks that presented the profiles of the success stories of our time, and then as publisher and founding editor of Success Magazine. All these guys and gals would take my call because they all wanted their pretty faces in the success stories of their companies profiled on our media platforms.
Yeah.
So when I look at the diversity of the types of people who have become the enviable people of our society, what's that common trait? And the reality is that it has nothing to do with their background, how they were raised, who they were raised by, what schools they went to, their age, race, creed, color, gender. No commonalities whatsoever, except for their insatiable desire to learn and grow themselves, to iteratively improve themselves with almost an insatiable appetite. And that allowed them to grow out of their circumstances, whatever those circumstances were, good, bad, or indifferent. It allowed them to grow out of their circumstances. And quite frankly, I'm a testimony of that as well. I was born to a very dysfunctional, home life. You could think my parents divorced when I was 18 months old. I was raised singularly by my father, and then later, my stepmonster. And, there's no reason for me to be as successful or as capable or have had the life journey that I've had, other than my constant, never-ending commitment to personal growth and development. I've grown way beyond my circumstances, and that was only because of my commitment to personal growth and development. You look at my brother and sister who came from the same situation, and why is their life not as rich and full and as prosperous and as happy and as intimate as my life is? The only X factor, the only variable that is different between us is my constant, never-ending pursuit of personal growth and development. And so that's available for anybody and everybody out there. No matter where you've come from or where you're starting right now or how you're feeling or what other people have said you can and can't do, none of that is a variable except for your commitment to personal growth and development. And that is that variable factor that I've seen in all those incredible people that I've had a chance to meet. Yeah. The only commonality is their commitment to continual growth and development.
Now, you mentioned that word commitment there like half a dozen times. And, business, personal growth, all of these they are a commitment. There's a lifelong thing. I mean, it's become a proverbial joke that, 20 years to be the overnight success. I know, what's Action Coach is now 24 years old, and I still don't think I'm an overnight success yet. But, I remember, I don't know if you got to read Sharon Lecter's 3 Feet from Gold based on the Napoleon Hill stuff. And there's so much of that, Darren. What is it that kept you committed to it? Because that's an interesting one, because if we all commit for different reasons. Why did you commit? Because you love teaching above anything else. Like, I know all the other business stuff, but the teaching side of what you do seems to be where you're most passionate. Tell me more about that commitment, because I think our audience is going to be, I know they're all super excited to see you and to listen and learn, but I think the more they know where you came from with this, I think the better off their learnings will be. And that's why I want to, before I get you to answer, buddy, can I just ask, is it okay if I recommend everyone to come on Darren Daily?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, absolutely.
See, everyone that's watching this, Darren has a website called darrendaily.com. You jump on there, register. It's him every single day. So I know you wouldn't want me every day, but Darren every day, that could be a good thing, okay? So sorry, buddy, I had to throw in that there because I wanted to make sure everyone remembered that. So back to commitment. Tell me more about that. Share with me that.
This has been one of the things that I've been deeply interested in for the 20 years that I've been trying to curate the industry of success. And that is, where does this motivation and commitment, why are some people more interested in personal growth and development than others? And the interesting thing is, a lot of times it's rooted in the origin source code is rooted in a dysfunction. If you look at some of the great achievers of our society, they were driven, their compulsion was to overcome a form of dysfunction. Steve Jobs himself was given up by his birth parents and spent the rest of his life trying to prove to the world that he was significant, that he was worthy. Michael Jordan, that was cut from his high school basketball team, spent the rest of his entire career trying to prove that coach wrong. During his Hall of Fame speech, he flew in that coach, paid to have him fly, put up in a hotel, and then he put him on the front row of his Hall of Fame speech. And in the middle of his Hall of Fame speech, he stopped and said, "See, dude, you were wrong." The entire motivation of his airness for all of that period of time was rooted in this dysfunction that, look at Richard Branson, whose headmaster said he'd end up in prison or a millionaire. And, that was a driving force. And I have to tell you,
I love that statement though. You'll either end up in prison or a millionaire.
And he's a billionaire. He missed it on both counts. But I mean, so you ask where it kind of comes from for me. I have to tell you, probably the beginning. You know, motivation has its evolutions, right? And in the beginning, I probably have to acknowledge that because I was raised by a university football coach father, and the only way that you got love and attention in our household was to achieve. I became very addicted to achieving to get love, to feel like I was worthy and significant and validated. And it wasn't until, and you can read in the Entrepreneur Rollercoaster book, that story of when I was 23 years old, standing in my new home in Tiburon, California, when I had an experience with my father, that I realized, I'm doing all this for him, and that's not the right motive anymore. And I started doing it for me. And then my motivation became about like competition and winning. And then my motivation became more about the challenge of what I could do, almost competing against myself now as the thing. And then now, you know, really my motivation is rooted in wanting to make an impact, and quite frankly, an impact with impact makers. I tried to go out and help all those who needed help with mass media, and realized that most people couldn't be bothered. And I no longer care about those who don't care about their own success. I mean, like Jim Rohn would say, I want to help people so bad, you know, it almost, I would make you successful if it killed me. He says, I almost died, you know, I felt like that. So,
I remember Kiyosaki said it years ago. He said, don't try and teach the pig to sing. It annoys the pig and it wastes your time.
Yeah,
exactly. He's a little more blunt than you and I, though.
So the interesting part about it is that, look, in the beginning, your motivation doesn't have to be that enlightening.
Yeah.
But if that's what it gets you, to get the engine started, to drive, to push yourself to do better and to become more, great. And then over time, look, your motivation will evolve probably to some more virtuous source codes, but just start wherever you are.
Yeah, it's hard to have a virtuous goal if you're sitting there not feeding yourself yet. So
right.
It's, you know, a lot of business people, when they come to us, Darren, they're just starting out and they're learning, or they're in a negative situation. Or nowadays, I find that with coaching, we get a lot more people who have really good businesses that want to make them great. And it's great to have seen that transition where, you know, I'm not waiting until I die before I go and get help. I'm waiting until, you know, I'm a little bit out of control and now I need to go through that. So last area I want to sort of focus in on is that human development side of it, because I know for me, I'm the same as you. I had to learn a whole bunch, had to go and start with Mr. Rohn when I was 16, and, you know, and all that things, and voracious reader and all of that stuff. But when people come into it on a day-to-day basis, there's certain attributes and things. And I know you're going to teach a whole bunch of this stuff when we all get to hang out together. But I guess give us a taste of where we're headed with that, because I think it's really important for people to understand, at least get on the right track now, so that when they get there, they get and find distinctions from you.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll approach that a couple of ways. The first thing is, you know, I'm starting to figure out what is it that really someone needs. What's the formula to find significant success? And I'm not saying significance in terms of doing something impactful. I'm talking about the size and scale of your success. And you know, Napoleon Hill, my predecessor at Success, put it simply inside the Think and Grow Rich, is like there's the three core ingredients are: number one, you need a burning desire. I mean, if there's one ingredient, Brad, that I wish that I could manufacture and put it in a bottle and I could just go and dispense and let somebody take a pill and they'd have desire, we could change the world. That's the one thing that I wish I could manufacture, is desire. Like there are so many people who just have apathy. They couldn't be bothered. They're more like Barney Rubble. They can't wait for the horn to toot at 5 o'clock and it's Miller time. And, you know, the thing I'm most excited about, there's their fantasy football league, and you know, they don't really have a desire to do something great, and so that's one, is a burning desire. The second thing that I found is decisiveness. Like when an opportunity is presented to yourself, can you decide to move forward? I remember when talking with Richard Branson, and I asked, you know, do you think luck has played any part in your success? And he's like, sure. I mean, luck surrounds us all every day. I've not been any luckier or unluckier than anybody else. The only difference is when luck came my way, I took full advantage of it.
Yep.
And that's the truth about all of us. We have lucky and unlucky things happening to us all day, every day. But when luck comes your way, do you take advantage of it? So it's a huge attribute, which is decisiveness. You act when presented with opportunity. It's like, you put the call out to lots of people to be part of this event. And some hem and hawed, and some saw the email and they set it aside, and some acted. Yeah. And you know what? The difference between their financial future, who they're going to be, and the journey they're going to take on this heroic adventure they're on, is decided in those moments, right? Yeah. So that's number two. And the third is specialized knowledge. In the end, you've got to know some stuff. And that's what you and I try to do, is to say, we've been down the road. We're going to come back and we're going to draw a map for you and make sure that your journey is easier and safer and faster than it took for us. But you do need to know some stuff. And it has to do with specialized knowledge, the kind of stuff you're not going to get in universities. You're only going to get when you seek out the particular skill on business building and entrepreneurship and sales and leadership and so forth, and the kind of things that we're trying to bring back to people to give them those iterative distinctions that are going to allow them to rise above their peer group, the herd of their community and their marketplace and so forth. So those are those few things, and when we're together, the thing I'm excited about that your team picked is the topic that's been an obsession for me since I was 8 years old. I think it started when I was trying to be an achiever, to get love from my father, but it was always trying to seek out what is it that these radically successful people do differently in the same 24/7, 365 that give them 5, 10, 50, 100, 1,000 times greater results than the rest of us. What do they do differently? So after getting access to all those people, I've published 7,800 pages. I've 500 hours of recorded interviews. I kind of pull the best of that, try to compress it and distill it into a bit of a quick workshop that we'll do together. And what are those productivity secrets of the super achievers? And that's what I'm going to cover when we're together. So I think people will get a tremendous amount of value. They'll definitely be able to walk out of that the following week, go back and kick some ass that they didn't have the ability to do before, because they will have some of that specialized knowledge about how to apply these things and make a difference.
Very much, buddy. Look, thank you for your time today. I want everyone to make sure you go grab the Compound Effect, grab the Entrepreneur Rollercoaster, sign up for DarrenDaily.com, and just get ready to hang out with us when we get to San Diego. Buddy, look, thanks so much again for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you do at Success Magazine to change the way the world works. And look forward to seeing you in it's a few months now. It's not that long away, to be honest.
Fantastic. Look forward to it, Brian. Thanks.